So I yield to you unto your careful hands. When I trust you, I don't need to understand. Make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Welcome back to Change Your Perspective. I am Avio Juvi Alexander, and today I just want to share a story. So, some time ago I was washing my hair, and anybody who has curly hair, naturally, you all know how long it takes to wash your hair. And y'all, it was in desperate need of a wash. And I also decided, you know what? I will deep condition it also. So I went and I pulled out my packet. I buy like those little packets of deep conditioner, and the deep conditioner that I had was bentonite clay, right, by Cantu. So they have it in the packets. And I was squeezing it out. Now, of course, you know that this is different to regular deep conditioner, right? Regular deep conditioner, you just take and you soak up your hair, put on a cap, and you're good to go. This, however, the consistency was different, and it's clay, right? So I'm putting it in my hair, and it's not soaking through. It's not going through. It's not going into my hair. And so I was frustrated, and then I was like, you know what? I should probably read the instructions. Let me read the instructions and see if this will help, right? Let me see what it is it says to do. And so I turned over the pack, and on the back it said, start from ends and work to your roots. But I had been just taking it and plopping it into my hair, right, from my roots and trying to bring it down to the ends. And I was like, oh, that is what I have to do. So I took out, I had already kind of put a bit of it in my hair, but I squeezed out as much as I could, and I started doing what it said to do, right? So from the ends, and I'm working up. And y'all, it was going into my hair so easily. It was like mind blowing, right? And so it worked into my hair nice, completely easy, perfect, right? And so I put on the cap and, tried to do whatever else I could do to let it sit in my hair and really soak up, right? And while I was, showering, I started to think about Moses, because I've been reading from the book of Genesis all the way coming down. And so I'm in the book of Numbers, and in Numbers, he is recounting the experience that they had where they were led. Well, of course, we know that they were in the wilderness, right? And so they reached Canaan, the promised land. And, they sent out spies, and we know this story, right? The spies came back with their report, and everybody was scared and frightened and was complaining that, oh God, brought them here to kill them, more or less, right? But also, he shared that he spoke to God and asked him, more or less was pleading with God, right, to let him be able to go and see the promised land. And God's response was more or less, don't ask me again, right? Over and done. That is done, right? And Y'all, it really made me think about the fact that Moses was so faithful. He was faithful to God. He served God so well. Moses, as the word says, there will never be another man, right? Like Moses, especially with the kind of relationship that he had with God. Oh, seeing God face to face, not literally face to face, right? But actually being in his presence, right? And the reason why Moses was not allowed to go into the promised land was because he did not follow instructions. God told him to speak to the rock, right? And the water would pour out because everybody was thirsty and had no water where they were at that point in time. Moses was angry with these people, frustrated, right? And he struck the rock. Now, it's amazing though. God still let water pour out the rock, right? But Moses' punishment, right, for presenting God as unholy, and that was it. God was as if he was letting Moses know that he didn't keep God as holy before the Israelites. And so by striking the rock, he did not follow God's instructions. And he had to pay the consequence for those actions. And even after begging God, even in spite of the fact that he was so faithful and he continued, right, to lead these people, he still could not go into the promised land. And it really makes me think about, one, the importance of following God's instructions. And I mean, are we following instructions? Are you where God wants us to be? Are you doing what God told you to? Right? Can you sit and think back to the last thing that God told you to? And are you doing it? Right? Or you receive instructions, perhaps from a man of God, or really and truly, I'd rather just stick with God's direct instructions to you, right? So, are you doing what God told you to do? Are you where God told you to be? Are you working where you're supposed to be working? Are you operating in your purpose, right? Your following instructions is so crucial and so important to us really, right? Walking in the fullness of God's purpose for us. And I see that there's a consequence for not following God's instructions. It may not necessarily be that you won't go to heaven, right? You're still his child, you're still his daughter, unless of course the instructions that you're not following is, something that is sinful, right? But I'm talking really mainly about instructions where he told you, I want you to leave this job and go here. I want you to move out of this apartment and go there, right? I mean, your simple instructions sometimes, a lot of times God gives us, I want you to talk to that person, right? I want you to reach out to this, call your mom, right? Call that person that you're upset with. I want you to forgive this person. Follow God's instructions because there is a consequence that we'll have to pay. And I am going to definitely try my best to make sure that I don't miss out on the blessings that God has for me because I choose not to follow instructions. Look at the blessing that Moses missed out on. Moses left Egypt, went through the wilderness, and never got to experience that rest, right? In seeing the promise that God had given to the Israelites since Abraham. He never got to experience the fulfillment of the promise because he didn't follow instructions. And so I can't even just say encouragement today, right? My challenge to you is to sit and think about the fact that whether or not you are following God's instructions, are you doing what God told you to do? Are you where God wants you to be, right? Are you following instructions? Are you following even His word, right? Which is His written instructions of how we are to live. Are you doing this? Are you even trying to do it, right? I'm challenging every single one of you. Follow God's instructions. Because when you do, the reward is sweet and great. And I am sitting here with healthy curly hair, right? Because I followed instructions. And I mean, I know it's so simple, something like that, following the instructions on the packet, as compared to following the instructions of God. But it's so, so simple and crucial and important. It's the same thing. Following the instructions is really how we will get the outcome that we want. So, what are you going to do? I know what I'm going to do. And so, as I always end, whatever situation any of you may be facing, perhaps all you may need to do is change your perspective. Have a great one, guys.